Yes,
Well,
sir.
Mr. Gary O'Donnell,
Welcome
the one and
to our
only,
podcast.
the one and only Gary O'Donnell, the one and only.
The one and
There is
only.
only one.
Want to give a quick shout out to all of our listeners first, Gary,
Yes.
because they are making this show possible, and the support, and they're spreading the love. They're
Thank you.
subscribing. They are talking about it with other people, sharing it on LinkedIn.
They're calling us and giving us really wonderful feedback. So thank you guys for
Awesome.
that.
Yeah, definitely. So,
Appreciate it.
Happy
yeah,
to be
you guys can find our work, and you can listen to this podcast, Gary, on Apple Podcasts, the app. You can listen to anytime you want on your way to work. You can listen to in the bathtub.
It's got to be my alarm clock in the morning.
It can be your
Yes.
alarm clock. You can watch us. I mean, you can watch how cool we are on
Yes.
YouTube, right? So our whole video is on YouTube. So you can watch a whole podcast on YouTube. So the more you guys subscribe, share, and talk about it, man, we appreciate you. It helps us grow,
Yes, we
get
do.
better, get phenomenal guests like Mr. Gary O'Donnell here. For those who are listening, Gary O'Donnell is with Karis Cold. He is we don't get many end users on the show, but we're definitely getting a lot more in our lineup coming up too. So
Yes.
Gary, we're excited to have you. Karis Cold, Vice President of Construction. Welcome, Gary. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Vince. Good to see you.
And Jenna.
Yeah.
I just sit next to you.
Yeah. As you guys all know,
Very close.
As you guys all know, my name is Vince Free, and this is my life partner, business partner, wife in crime, Jenna Free. And yeah, we are your host for today's show. And
Just today.
Just today.
Just today.
Because tomorrow we're not hosting a show. Now you are a smartass.
Just today.
Anyways, Mr. Gary O'Donnell,
Yes.
would you like, why don't you tell us and all the listeners here a little bit about yourself?
Please.
Sure. Gary O'Donnell, been in the industry for 26 years. Just recently came to Karis Cold, so I'm happy to come on board and help Karis grow. Karis Cold is a developer, which is just a different role for me because my roots are from the general contracting side of things. It's crazy. It's Karis Cold now is doing a little bit more with cold storage spec buildings, which I think is kind of new to the industry. Design, build to suit, sale leaseback, but really the spec part of it was interesting because they're starting to build buildings that they don't have tenants for. We've got several right now. I think we were up to 15 different sites.
Wow.
Sites range from 50 acres to 250 acres. Some of them have 3 to 4 buildings on them under construction. Mostly Midwest, East Coast, but it's incredible how much work Karis has right now, and be kind of happy to get involved and try to bring my experience to them and try to get them to provide good buildings for end users.
Is Karis, the company, they're called Karis Cold. Are they new? Like is the spec buildings like part of their new endeavors, or have they been doing this for a while?
Jake Finley's got, I think he started it 10 years ago. Someone had just said that the other day, but I think the cold storage part of it really started maybe 4 years ago with a project with my old general contracting company out in Denver. It was a joint venture with, I think, Americold.
Okay.
I wasn't involved. It was kind of weird. I wasn't, they weren't a client I knew of, but not someone I dealt with on a daily basis.
Sure.
So when the opportunity came up to kind of join them, it was an easier transition. I knew of them, but really didn't involve a lot with the inner workings with the way they're doing. So we're still doing some work with the old company too, United Insulated.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
Which is
it's
now
been a
Power.
good, Power Construction owns United's a division of them. I was one of the prior owners of United and worked there, jointly with the Power Group for 3 years, and then the transition's been it's been smooth. I got to say, it's interesting to now be at the development side of it and be able to deal with still some of the people that I enjoyed working with for so many years, and then even branching out even further to work with different general contractors. One of the things I think that's neat about our industry, Vince, you can attest to this, is that the general contractors kind of all have a pretty good rapport with each other. So there's a lot of people I consider friends in our industry that used to be competitors that I can call on. Even when I was with United, being able to call up the Sam Titman or the guys from Primus or any of those
Mhm.
other guys, just to
Mhm.
have that good rapport with them. And I think that's one of the things that I'm gonna, lean on quite a bit moving forward. Just having a good relationship with so many different people in the industry should be a good thing.
Absolutely. And this is a really exciting and going to be a very popular podcast, Gary. So no pressure the rest of the way out here because we are in interesting times right now. Okay.
Yeah,
Karis Cold, being a developer, I'm calling you an end user, but you're not. I mean, you're an end user and a developer. I guess let's clarify that because there are developers that put their name on the building and they call it their building and they lease it out and to other privately held companies. But so what exactly is yeah, tell me a little bit about
I'd say it's
that
it's more
piece.
the latter. We're not operating the buildings after the fact. We're definitely leasing them out, but there's
So you
definitely
won't put Karis Cold name on the building.
no.
Okay.
Mm.
We do have some roads that are going to be named after them because
Hey.
That's
when we get to
cool.
develop it, I'm hoping Jake lets me name O'Donnell Way or something. I think that'd
I
be
like
fun.
I
it.
do like that. Like
We're gonna run
Lombardi
out of
Way,
names.
in Wisconsin,
Yeah,
over by Lambeau
right.
Field, right?
Yeah,
There
we
you
got
go.
one in Montgomery, Illinois that has a Karis Way on it. So
That's
it's
awesome.
250 acre sites. You've got a lot of
Wow.
names for roads that you
I'll say.
can generate.
100%. And being Karis Cold, the developer side, that is crazy to me. The amount of money these developers are spending on a build to suit spec building with no tenant at all. So
Yeah.
they are literally going with the philosophy, if we build it, they will come.
We should post that on our website. If we build it, they will come. That's the goal. I love that because it's kind of like that. It's a weird for me not having an end user, and that's one of the things I'm hoping to bring to the Karis group is just that experience of what the end users want, how
Mhm.
to build the right building and build the Karis brand where people want to get into those buildings midstream. It's always what can you do for me now, right? And everyone's always looking for the quick and easy move in where no one has the time. A lot of times when the capital comes available, when the opportunity comes to grow your company, I think that's where Karis is really going to shine, is that
Mhm.
we've already got plenty of projects in the chute ready to come out of the ground. One of the things that amazed me about Karis is the backlog. We have
Yeah.
literally close to $1 billion either under construction or in the queue to start construction. And that doesn't include one of the things that which I'm looking forward to with some of the future projects is we're hooked up with Cattlemen's out of Iowa, and they're out of Iowa. Put me on that because I'm still getting up to speed on the project. But we're going to do a cattle kill plant
Okay.
just outside of Omaha, Nebraska. That'll do 2,000 heads a day. Which is somewhere in the $500 to $600 million project with the
Wow.
equipment. And what's neat is those buildings aren't built very often, and they're really just a little bit I've seen to date. It probably won't break ground till next first quarter of next year, but the amount of technology that they're going to implement in this building is amazing. It'll definitely be one of the highest tech buildings, in that industry, when it comes out of the ground.
That's got to be cool to be a part of that, to see that all come
Yeah, and
together.
that's not part of the backlog. I mean, that's just a completely separate endeavor that Karis is partnered up. So there's a little bit of press on it. If you look for it, you can find it, but it's just really cool.
Sure. So when Karis is looking at where to buy property and land and what type of analysis are they going through and numbers are they going through to find out, hey, this is, Des Moines, Iowa sounds like a good spot. There's 250 acres of land here for sale.
Right.
Let's just buy a property here and build a cold storage warehouse. Like, how do they go about that process?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm VP of construction. It's already found when we've got some great the team on the due diligence development side. A lot of the guys with the company have come from the developer side.
Mhm.
I'm
Okay.
pretty much one of the only ones that have come from the construction side. But that's a great question. Like we just closed on a 270 acre parcel of land just near Chicago. They're talking about possibly data processing
Sure.
for that one, just because, 1 million square foot building for data processing.
That industry is insane too.
Yes.
That one I don't have a lot of experience in, but just the power requirements for it are just, it's,
Oh my
Mhm.
it's,
gosh.
you know, 300 megawatt, I think it's megawatt, how they measure that, but it's just insane. And those are just big giant coolers at the end of the day, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
They're
Of
built like
course.
a cooler. You just need a lot of power and a lot of patience and a lot of guys to run wires, a lot of IT guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more of a vision from, Karis's owner. I
Mhm.
think he has a tendency to kind of see areas where other people are not looking, and the context he has, and just kind of envision something different. And part of that is the cold storage. And so it's exciting. It's a lot to bring in. Again, I made that switch in mid-July, so I'm still getting my feet planted.
Very much
But what
so.
I've seen,
Yeah.
yeah, what I've seen so far is just amazing. It's a lot of warehouses. My background's always been in the production side of things, and the warehouses were always kind of secondary to the production space.
Sure.
But it's pretty fun.
Yeah. A lot of those food plants, they would build a little warehouse
Yeah,
side. So they'd package and make all their food and then
yeah,
store it there, usually short term until it went off to like a US
right.
Cold or someone
Yeah,
else,
like
right?
50,000 square feet off to the
Mhm.
side. I think most of ours are in the 200 to 300,000 square foot freezer cooler space right now.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
26 years in the industry. I'd known you for a long time, right?
Yes,
When I was a
yes.
young buck out of college and I was working for ASI, I got to call on you in Chicago.
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
you were working for United. That's when we were both much younger and less gray hair.
Yeah, less gray hair.
Yeah. I have stories for days about that, by the way, because your staff scared the shit out of me.
Uh,
Oh my
I
gosh.
worked
I
for some
mean,
pretty intense people, my partners at United when I
your
got to that point.
partners all I feel like were in the mafia.
Yeah.
Okay. And it scared me all the time. Like
It scared
Rich
me.
Malechka would be like, so you're gonna get me this door for this price, right? And
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
did the
like, I
Jedi
look
mind
at
trick
him.
on you.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna throw that one in for free.
Free. Yeah. Yeah. Please let me get out the door.
Also, you have my address, and I don't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was gnarly. No, I mean but dude, 26 years. How did you get into the industry?
Mm.
Tell us a cool entry into the industry. Do you have
I saw I don't have a cool, it was probably one of those things. I was not, college for me was a challenge. And when I started looking for jobs, I went to Bradley University for civil engineering. And a lot of the partners, a lot of the main people at United were from Bradley. And I think they were searching for someone. And I guess I answered the call, or put the right resume in. And it's funny, I think back to those times. I mean, when I started in the field, you know, at superintendent, assistant superintendent, and I literally did not have, and I didn't know what a piece of rebar was, but I remember this old superintendent just kind of, having me do way more than I should have been doing at 20 something years old. But I remember being knee deep in mud, and I'm almost like a laborer at that point, when you're just,
Yep.
just a grunt. And I used to call it justification for higher education. But I just was always one of those ones where just, put your nose down, do the work, put the hours in. Don't focus on trying to get out early for golf that day, or work the Saturdays and the late hours, and
Mhm.
it paid off. It paid dividends later. Not early.
Yeah.
Early, it was a lot of hours, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But that's one thing I try to tell some of the young guys coming in is, don't just put your nose down and get the experience. I think in our industry, that's what differentiates the people that succeed in it, is the experience they get, and learning how it's done wrong, how to fix it,
Yeah.
and the
Mhm.
traveling I did early on in my career, even now. But, I think I spent the first year of my marriage out of town,
Mm-hmm.
which was rough. It was rough from the family, but it was a good experience, seeing things done different ways, how to solve different problems in different areas, and being humble enough to kind of listen to the people in front of you, and ask questions, and not be afraid to step up and ask the questions. So that's something. Starting in the field was probably one of the better things I did
How
early in the
long did you
career.
spend in the field?
Probably 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
5 years as a super. Every bit of 5, 4 to 5 years of just. I think the one job I was talking about in Texas, at I was 29, running a 300,000 square foot warehouse by myself. I mean, nowadays, there's 6 people on the job, and there's assistants, and
Oh yeah.
I'd be working 3 in the morning. Pours early in Texas, early in the morning. You'd get
Yep.
up, and Jenny, my wife, would come down and visit. I still wouldn't see her. It
Yeah.
was crazy
Too
because you're
busy.
too busy, but you get it done, and you earn the respect of the people around you. I
Absolutely.
think that's huge. Coming in just yelling and barking doesn't work. Learned that the hard way. Got punched in the face once on a job. That was
What?
yeah,
What?
that's a story for another day.
No.
Gosh.
Hang on here. Hit the button,
Back up,
man.
rewind.
Which one?
I don't know yet. Hang on. We are going to listen to Gary O'Donnell's story of how he got punched in the face. Bro,
it was
go.
Oh God. So it was early morning. I had gotten up. My wife was actually in town at the time, a job in Texas, and I had gotten up at like 4 a.m. so I could come and switch the entrance point for all the workers that day.
Mm-hmm.
So came in, half awake, had put a lull in front of an entrance, pulled one away, so the workers could come in. We were pouring pavement that day, and no early, as soon as I blocked the entrance, I went to the other one, opened it up. Well, the company that was delivering equipment for the job had come in. Well, they had keys to everything. They moved it. Big semi comes in, and right behind him was like 50 cars. So I was going to have to spend my entire morning getting these cars out of the way because that was the new entrance. So I come barreling in. Again, I'm in my late 20s, just hot and pissed off, and came in, and I squealed, the tires stop. I jump out of. I think the car was still moving when I jumped out of it. I was so mad.
Oh my
And
God.
I started screaming at a delivery guy, calling him everything in the book. He didn't like that too much, and your brain kicks in, and you're like, this guy's gonna pop me, and I'm, and then I'm like, I'm still, that Chicago comes out in you sometimes, and you're naive and dumb, and you're just yelling and screaming. Well, next thing, a left hook hits me. I kind of go down a little bit. And true story, I didn't knock down. He hit me pretty good. I came back up, and I'm still screaming at him.
Oh gosh.
I'm spitting blood all over his shirt, and I think he thought it was crazy, right? Because this guy was just way bigger than I am, and he would have just destroyed me. And nobody's around me. All my workers were kind of like up in lifts and doing their thing in the morning, and so he walked away. I walked away. Well, long story short, is I had to go to the hospital. I got like 7 stitches in my mouth, and being the dumb kid from the south side of Chicago, I came back to the job site later in the day, and it was had to call my wife and tell her, hey, I'm okay. Always start the conversation when you call your wife, say I'm okay.
Yeah, that's a good
But
one.
I'm okay, but
yeah, life lesson, right? The life lesson was,
Yeah.
gather your thoughts, and you can't just randomly scream at people.
Man, you gave 2 good life lessons so far, man. And I hope we have young listeners, because the first one is get your ass in the field and put in the time.
Yeah.
Learn the
Yeah.
trade, understand the trade. I don't care
And
how
I'm
old
learn-
you are or when you get in any industry you're entering, whatever it is, get your hands on it, man. Earn that respect and watch your
Sometimes
mouth so you don't get punched in the face.
don't yell at people.
Who was
that
the
are bigger
delivery
than you.
driver? What company?
It was it was like probably a Sunbelt or something like that.
Oh, Sunbelt's on blast.
Yeah. It was a long time ago. It was one of the major guys
man.
back 20 years ago. But yeah, it was again, you learn, right? You learn how to,
Yeah.
I think in the field, the biggest thing is learning how to, learn when you fix mistakes, those lessons stick with you longer than just someone telling you how to do it,
Mhm.
and then learning how to do it different ways. I mean, there's different ways to, skin a cat, and there's always different methods. And when you get to work around the country, like I've been fortunate enough to do, you really do pick up, 6 different ways to solve the same problem. And then you apply that. Sometimes there's hybrids of that. And when you can be humble enough to explain to a guy that's, you always get the saying, oh, I've been doing it for 30 years. Well, you've been doing it wrong for 30 years. I hate to tell you, but, instead of saying it that way, you say, hey, why don't you try it this way? And if it works out better, they take something away from it, and
Mhm.
you earn some respect from people the way you approach them.
Mhm.
And again, lessons learned. It's how you approach people and how you talk to them and how you listen. You don't always have to argue with people to convey your point.
So
That's kind of
true.
what I've tried to learn throughout my career.
That's an important lesson. Life lessons with Gary O'Donnell.
Life lessons. See,
So
dropping knowledge.
So you gotta, obviously that's rough on newlywed. It's rough on the wife and the time away and in the field. And, 4 a.m. concrete pours in Texas, getting punched in the face. Why did you stay in the industry?
I don't know, man. I still love what I do. Really do. I like the complexity of the projects, the friends that I've made,
Yeah.
for the 25 years. I mean, I've got a lot of really good industry friends that I can call any day of the week. Vince, you're definitely one of them. And we both have similar path, similar circles that there's
We
plenty of
do.
people that you can call and really get a genuinely, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Answer or question. And
Mhm.
that's, I think that's what is unique about our industry is that, genuinely, and that's what, going to the conferences and shows. And that's one thing that jumped out right away was that people were genuinely concerned about your family
Yeah.
and what you were doing and how you were, doing outside of work.
Sure.
Mhm.
And that's, I think that's unique.
Yeah, you don't see it everywhere. It's not it. I haven't seen it in every industry.
No, I haven't either, which is we ask that question all the time to people and why'd you stay or
You
what do you
know-
like most about the
Yeah.
industry? And they tell it's the people, man. So
Always the
thing-
people.
yeah,
Mhm.
and hopefully as you are a developer, there's a lot of new developers that are entering our world. And I just hope that, I don't want to say oversaturated. That's not the right word. I mean, I
Mhm.
want them to build a lot of buildings. That's what we build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just, we want good people, right? Is that weird to say that? Like we really enjoy
Well,
the good people and
we enjoy the good people, but we want a good product, right? And
Totally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
sometimes when people are coming into it and they need to, if they're new, the first thing is you got to recognize that you're new and you got to bring the experience. You can't replace experience. You can read about it, you can have the best
Mhm.
drawings in the world, but sometimes it's just insight. It's a I call it like a sixth sense where you just know what's going on in your industry and be,
Yes.
you've just got to hire the right people, the right
I was just going to
contract.
say that you got to hire the right people, the right contractors, guys that have been doing this and understand it. And better than anybody. You were a general contractor, design builder for 26 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
you've built millions and millions and millions square feet of buildings and this from refrigeration to concrete to
I know
everything.
a little about a lot of things. Never claim to know everything about anything, right, in
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
But I think more or less I know the right questions to ask, but I also know the right people to call. When
Yes.
there is something that comes up, and some of them are, truth be told, some of them are little GCs, some of them are competitors, some of them are
Mhm.
suppliers. And again, that's what makes this industry so nice is that I can call up several people, at any hours of the day. They'll return or answer the call right away and give you a genuine answer, even if they're a competitor, even if it's not for their gain. It's just literally to help a friend. And I think that's what really makes our industry special.
I was gonna say that I feel like we've gotten to the point where I want to ask about like his cool moment, but I feel like the punch in the face was kind of it. Well, okay. So maybe that wasn't a cool story because you ended up having to get stitches at the hospital.
Yeah,
But in
it's a
your
scar.
20,
Chicks dig scars, Jenna.
totally,
Yeah, they do.
totally.
They
They
do.
don't like going to the hospital and watching you get the stitches though. Okay.
Right. So I did not call my wife until after I left the
Smart.
hospital.
Smart. Yeah.
Being a
I
year
did not
married.
enjoy taking Vince to the hospital
bet
for
not.
face stitches
But a
and
lot of
watch
those.
the doctor clean his chin, water
Bet a lot of
come
those.
out of his chin.
Nice.
Beer league ice hockey, Gary, is a very rough sport.
I was about to say hockey injuries are
Yeah.
another thing. Chicks dig scars.
Yeah. Yeah, they do, I guess.
So I said
Maybe.
one of my cool moments. I was thinking about it the other day. I had one of the early times at one of the SIBA Oleastic conferences. I think we were in Florida. I just remember being by a bunch of boats, and it
Mm.
was me, Tommy Trular, Carl Hershar. He was the president of Metalspan at the time, a couple of presidents ago, so maybe 10 years ago. Hilshire.
Okay.
So we're sitting out, and you remember Tommy. I mean, Tommy went to the bar and
Mhm.
got the best scotch they had, which turned out to be like a 25 or 30-year-old Macallan. Now, at the
Wow.
time, I had no idea, right? This was probably $200-300 a shot.
Easy.
Comes out with three drinks and maybe even four. I think at the time, Kingspan was just getting into the U.S. market. Their president was there, and just sitting down with those guys with I mean, each one of them had 30, 40, 50 years of experience, and I'm just this new young buck listening a lot, not listening, no talking. And
Mhm.
And it was just such a cool moment to just sit with those guys and just hear them talk about the industry and just talk about life. And
Mhm.
again, it was one of the things that I remember early days of the SEBA or the IASIC conferences, and just, late nights are always fun at those conferences. There's a lot of fun to be had. But when you
Mhm.
just sit down and relax and just quietly talk about what's going on, and those are the moments that I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
Um, just a bunch of good, a lot of stories, fun stories, which I won't talk about on this cast. But
What are you
definitely,
talking about? We don't have any good stories about being in New Mexico,
no,
do we? At
no, no,
IRW, do we?
lots of good stuff. But no, it was
My
that was
goodness.
just to be around some of the guys that kind of started it and really helped get the industry where it is today. And you hope that you can contribute that, moving forward. And
Yeah. Yeah.
um, one of the
Well,
reasons why getting involved with the SEBA stuff is so important. I think
Yeah.
that, I mean, that.
it's super important. I think everybody should be going to SEBA 100%. I think it's the greatest show on earth. And
Yeah.
I don't get paid to say that. I
No.
just don't, you know. I've
You do
invoiced
get, you do
them.
get to go to the
They've
free
never
dinners
paid
for
me.
the, yeah, past
I've
president
invoiced them.
dinners. Yeah.
And yeah, man, nothing. I mean, yeah. But anyways, yeah, it's important to, even with this influx of all these new developers, Gary, we need to get that word spread to these guys. Like, listen, get to SEBA to
Yeah.
learn how these things are built, and learn who
Right.
the experts are that build these things. And so, because with all of this over here, Gary, you got to understand, there's a lot of, and you're a GC, there's a lot of new ones coming out saying, whoa, 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 we can do this. There's a
I,
market here. I want to do this
they're
now.
calling me right now. And, there's a lot of new people coming to the scene because cold storage is something that's just going to continue to increase the demand. I mean, a
Mhm.
lot of the infrastructure is old. They're getting bigger, taller. I mean, right now
Mhm.
we're up to 50-foot clear with a quell system for sprinklers. I mean,
Sure.
just talking about yesterday, the fork trucks haven't really caught up to the technology for fire protection. They get right now you can store up to 50 feet top of product, and so it puts your beam height at 44, 45 feet, give or take. But the trucks can't, they're derated when they get up that high. So you can't store the same product you can on the first level as you can at the seventh or eighth level.
Yeah.
They're derated down to maybe 1,700 pounds or 1,500 pounds. And so sometimes those pallets are as much as 2,500.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Depends on
it's
what you're storing.
right, yeah.
Yeah. No
No,
kidding.
it's going to continue to grow.
For
So there's a
sure.
lot of contractors that understand that. I mean, the relationships. The biggest thing I got from the SEBA conventions was the relations with the vendors, the
Mhm.
suppliers. I mean, you can't do any of this without a team.
Hmm.
GCs can, subcontractors can't. They need that product or that, and you got to have a line of communication to those companies. And that was to this day, I still use a lot of those connections now to call
Hmm.
people if I need something, solve a problem, need something sooner, because the lead times have gotten insane.
Hmm.
Fortunately, our industry is not like building Lego buildings where everything just falls in place. And nothing ever
No.
changes, right?
Yeah.
Especially in design build.
Yeah. Lead times have gotten a lot better, but I tell you what, I mean, the relationship piece is big because I'm the same way. I call people and say, hey, listen, I need help here. And they're going to
Yeah,
want to help.
Yeah,
Right. So
they do.
that's
yeah,
important to foster those relationships, and they become friendships, and,
Mhm.
it's just why we're here today.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's truly what it is. So,
Mhm.
I have more developer questions about Karis, and
Yeah.
it's more of a construction piece now for you. So there are different types of buildings now, right? There's, these buildings are getting taller. Are you guys building all the same type of spec building with like the same dock, freezer layout at the same height, same office? Is it all the same everywhere, or is every site you guys building the building different in these
I
different
think
sites?
I'd say that that's one of the things that I'm going to try to rope in and get a little bit more of a Karis brand of saying here, this is our base building spec. I mean, every site has its different constraints. When we do go into a building, and when we have a client that can give us some feedback, I think that's crucial because obviously at the end of the day, you want to cater to their needs.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like convertible rooms, that's probably the hottest topic right now. Is
Yep.
how many different sections do you want to put in the building, and where you separate the steel. to be able to have that, freezer cooler next to it and flip flop them a year later.
Sure.
So I think that's one of my goals, my marching orders, coming on board, is to try to get that a little bit cleaned up for Karis. We've got a lot of projects that are similar, the docks are, 60-foot deep docks is pretty much an industry standard now. The dock levelers, the pits, vertical levelers have pretty much standardized.
Who are the big dock leveler guys out there now?
Circle Kelly is still, I would say, the, Power Rail, Bright Height. There was a two that just came up on a project that I'd never heard of. And that's, again, everyone claims they can do something, but when you start doing digging, you call the people that you respect in the industry. And, one guy said, I won't, bad anyone, but he had said, don't put those in their building.
Don't put those in your building.
Don't do that.
Don't do
Yeah,
that.
don't do that. So yeah, I mean, it's levelers are used everywhere. One of the things came up the other day of what's the dock height, right? One of the buildings I had seen, it was going to be a cold storage building. It was still showing a 48-inch dock, and that's pretty much a no-no in our industry. It's always
48-inch.
Yeah,
Dock
height.
the dock 48-inch.
So the
Dock.
dock height, how high does it sit off the in the loading dock?
Yeah. Okay. I'm
It's always
following
above
now.
grade. It used to be 54, back in the day, but the trailers have changed, and that's, there's a debate on whether it should be 52 or 50, but definitely not 48 on cold docks.
Okay.
At least in my
So
experience.
what is standard now?
If somebody asked me that question, I'd say 52.
Okay.
I think there's probably some people might disagree and have a good argument for 50 or 52. I think you'll get a wide variety of people saying, probably 90% of people would say one of those two answers, and which one they say just depends.
All you got to do is add air or release air from the tires of these trucks, and you're fine, dude.
If you can control the truck drivers, then you've got a better idea. But yeah, it's standardized, right? What's the right door height going into your freezer nowadays? Now with the
It depends on the lift
50
mass, right? I mean, it
depends
right?
on how high you can go, right? We're putting in 20-foot doors right now.
Isn't that crazy? When I got in the door industry, man, like,
You're a door guy.
8x14 was standard, right? I did a lot of 8x12s, 8x14s, and then all of a sudden it's, US Cold is going to do 8x15 now everywhere. It's like, oh, okay,
Right.
now we got to build the door taller. All right, now it's 16. Then it was
16. Then
and
it's 18.
18 and a half now. I'm seeing a lot of 18 and a half. Like, that's just the deal now. I'm like, okay.
And that's comes along that whole idea about spec cold storage. What's the right spec? It's really how much you can
What I was
store in
going to
the
ask
building.
you, how are you going to build it now?
It's all about It's all about storage height, right? Everyone wants to stay away from in-rack sprinklers, so I think that the 50 clear is right now I'd say is more of an industry standard. That's how we're going to pursue our buildings, 50-foot clear. When the municipality,
what problem that opposes though when you do that? I mean, at the ridge, how tall is your deck?
56.
Mm-hmm. And any insulated metal panel over 53 is what?
Is not good.
It's expensive to ship that panel. I mean, it's a special permitted freight and
can you even get it there, right? I mean, I heard a story not too long ago where they had it was for steel, but steel's the same way, right? Steel goes below slab and just at the deck, where they had to set up a crane at an intersection to lift up the back trailer so they could make the turn in the corner because it was so long.
No way. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Think of your column. Your columns are just as long as your panels.
That's a good point.
And they're 12-inch thick. I mean, the spacing on the columns, I've been arguing with that for a couple of weeks. When you do a 56-inch or 56-foot space between the columns, you've got, double deep reach. You end up with like a 10-foot 8 aisle, which is just about minimum for those big fork trucks that have to get up that high.
Mm-hmm.
You try to do pushback, you need, more room. Now you're down to in the, closer to 10 feet, and they don't like that. They don't have the turning radius, so you've got to increase the bay size.
I never think of that.
That's what keeps me up at nights, Vince.
That's what's keeping you up at night, huh?
There's a lot of those bullet points in my brain that pop up at 1 a.m. going, damn it, I should write that down.
It's funny, man. You check one box and all of a sudden 3 boxes get unchecked and you're like, oh crap.
Sure. Yeah. It's that give a mouse a cookie book when you have kids. You'll look that up. You'll love it.
Yeah.
I have it.
You have
I have that book.
Why do you have that book? Are you not telling me something?
No, I was a kid once.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saved all
It,
my books.
You have the,
They're
she
good.
has the book.
Yes.
Well, tell me what the book's about.
I'd have to go back and read it.
I knew it.
If
Calling
you
you
give
out.
them something like where if you give them us a cookie, he's gonna want a party. If you give him a
Yeah,
party, he's gonna want a present. If you give him a
Right, like they're
present, he's
always
gonna
going to
want a
want
room.
more,
If you give him a present, he's gonna want what?
like something
More.
else.
More?
Like
Something-
it always,
yeah.
it's like an add-on. Every time they get one thing, then they want
Listen,
more.
you just got to read the book. I want
Yeah.
a book report by the end of the week of.
I have to pull it out of storage, but I'll find
Yes.
it.
I'm kind of into it because it sounds like an easy read.
It's
Keep the expectations low for you, Vincent. Yeah.
Sounds like an easy read. I'm in.
Yes,
I love
sir.
it. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, Mr. Gary O'Donnell, you've been to a million trade shows in your career. You know, you don't have to answer this anyway. You don't want to answer it, but what is your favorite trade show or conference you like to attend every year?
It's got to be the SEBA conference is definitely number one. I mean, the relationships you build in this industry, everyone that's in our industry is there, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's what I tell people when they not attending it and they're in our industry. So you need to go there because that's where you can get together with the manufacturers, with depending on where if you're a subcontractor, a GC, even the developers and end users, the clients. I mean,
Mhm.
that's where relationships are started. Second
For
after
sure.
that is probably the IPPE out of Atlanta. Production space is kind of
Oh yeah.
is a place I just like, walking the show floor. That's one thing that we miss a little bit with the SEBA shows is there's a lot more of the manufacturers there, but
They used
you
to
get
have like product there. Like the
Yeah.
door guys would used to bring doors and I loved it. Like
Yeah.
they would look forward to at ASIC at the time.
yeah,
They would look
Yeah,
forward to
that's a
showcasing a new
$10.
product every year. There's
Yeah.
something new, and they would bring their door on a little model, and it was so cool. And we stopped. I mean, it stopped. I don't know why.
That's what's neat about some of the other trade shows where you can walk the floor and see the new products, right? I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes you get tool blocked or you get just your blinders are on where you just don't pay attention to what's going on around you, and I think that's something I want to try to stay in tune with, probably more so than other developers out there, just because of my background of the GC, how I was
Yeah.
brought into the industry. So that's hopefully one of the things that's going to differentiate Karis from some of the other guys is they're all developers, right? Developers think differently than GCs. GCs, think differently from subs when they don't self-perform. I've been fortunate enough to be around all of that, and I'm hoping to just kind of bring all that together and
Mhm.
move forward with growing Karis and into a industry leader in what we do.
Yeah. Well, you have some tough decisions to make now because you have to now talk to all these GCs and start making some decisions or at least be a part of those decisions. And so, and there's a lot of customers that like only have one GC they love and that's all they hire.
Mhm.
Some have the same three and they'll have them price it out and they'll always pick between them three. What's your style? Do you have one yet?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's no different picking, I think, a GC than if you're picking a panel manufacturer or a steel contractor. I'm a firm believer in fair competition. I think that, the old days of give me your best and final and then expecting a call afterwards to award it to you, just one last look. I mean, there's situations where that applies. I mean, anyone that says that doesn't, they're lying. But I think it's just give me the best number up front. Don't hold anything back. If you say 10, I'm not going to just say 9. I'm going to say I need 9 things. Don't give me 10 things. I'm scope driven. I believe in that. I believe in just if you can get the scope correct, if you can lay that out and create a fair playing field for whether it's a sub, a GC, or anything, I think that at the end of the day, the numbers are pretty close. When the numbers are far off, there's usually an error. Either somebody
Yeah.
missed
Mhm.
something or they have something that they included that the other guy didn't. And
Mhm.
I've always prided myself in finding what that is out and digging deep and digging into it and figuring it out and creating that scope sheet that's generalized where you can get people to have most people just want a fair shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm hoping to bring to Karis. I mean, everyone's always got some favorite contractors, but I definitely do believe in fair competition and spreading the wealth. One guy can't do all your work, no matter who it is. One guy can't always supply you your panels.
Mhm.
When you get into that rut, you just start to you don't have the right. You might have a good product. All the products are equal, right? Equal or similar is a good statement. If you can do that and create a good scope sheet and provide people with information that's consistent, and also be consistent in your responses and your how you make your decisions. And I think I've done that throughout my career. As most people will say, I'm consistent, fair, honest, still a handshake guy. One of the things I've always, with all the traveling that you do, you get that a lot of times when you're out of town where nobody wants to trust you because you're the guy from Chicago, right? But your partners are mafia guys. Yeah.
They were.
But you lead by example, and I've always told people, if I say it verbally, I'll be happy to put it in writing. And I'm not offended if somebody asks me to put it in writing. Never have been. Whatever I say verbally, I'm happy to put in writing. And sometimes the writing takes a little bit longer, just because we're all busy and
Yeah.
we're always moving and shaking and changing, but definitely still a handshake guy.
That's great. Well, if our listeners want to learn a little bit more about Karis and Karis's offerings, like where could they find more information on that?
The website, Karis Cold, kariscold.com's got a good, they don't have my picture up yet, which I'm going to have to complain about.
Yes.
HR.
HR and management say, hey, I've been here now 6 weeks. I need a good picture, make sure they get my good side. But no, we have a lot going on. A lot of stuff that's not, I was looking at the website this morning. A lot of stuff that's not even showcased. It's just such a great time for Karis as a company. I'm excited. The owner has just a great vision of bringing a lot of good people together, very strong on the development side. And, with me getting on board, I'm hoping that I can bring a strong construction background to just, make good decisions and provide clients with what they need before they know they need it. That's the goal.
Value add.
Right?
Value add and bingo, man. Well, hey, Karis they are lucky to have you.
Yes.
No, I appreciate that.
Lucky
buddy.
to have you. You have a vast array of knowledge. I mean, you're a very bright guy, and I know you've been on the receiving end of my phone calls, and I ask you stuff. So, so
Phone's always open.
So we appreciate you for that.
Yes.
I do want to be cognizant of your time. There's some fun things I want to do here, like my
I got all
fun
the time in the
rapid.
world for you, buddy. I cleared my whole afternoon for you.
Oh,
Vincent.
look at you go, man! I got the cool rapid round questions that are sponsored by Vapor Armor. We could jump into that now, or
Sure.
Or are there
Wherever
any
Jenna
last
wants
questions?
to go?
No,
Any final questions?
I love your favorite part of the podcast. We've arrived at it. Your rapid round. Your cool rapid round questions.
Anyways, are you making me dinner tonight?
No.
No.
I don't cook anymore.
Nice.
See? Yeah.
I can. I just don't.
Gary, I need to get in the field more.
I'll request your presence on the next job, Vince.
Please do. Every 3 weeks, I need to be on site for 3 days. How's that?
Love it. I'll make that happen for you, buddy.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. So, anyways, all right, Gary, do you know how this
goes? Days.
You'll cook those days, of course.
There you go. I'll leave you leftovers.
Unbelievable. She's gonna cook those days. All right.
Lovely.
Gary, I'm going to ask you this or that question, and you have to pick one. Okay.
Sure.
Just one. All right. And they're going to be fun. And our boys at Vapor Armor.
Our friends at Vapor Armor.
Eric with the beard.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I
Such
can't
a
wait to
great
have
beard.
I can't wait to have that guy on the show.
Yes.
He's on the list. He knows he's got to come here and do it. It's scheduling is so hard. We do a fly-in for all of our sponsors, and he's one of them.
Great.
And it's going to be epic. Speaking of SIBA and having someone on the show soon too. I know we talked about that, and Brian Lynch is going to be on the show soon.
Oh, no kidding.
We are going to be talking all things SIBA about the upcoming show in Palm Springs. So
Yes.
Great.
obviously this episode here that you're listening to is obviously dropping before that. So,
Yes.
but anyways, yeah, I did want to mention that Brian's going to be on the show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll definitely look at it.
Yeah. All right.
YouTube it.
This or that questions, my friend. All right. Are you ready?
Ready. Bring it.
Okay.
Let it go.
All right, bro. We're going to find out a lot about you right now, man. Beach vacation or mountain retreat?
Oh, is it warm or cold in the mountain?
Man, that's not part of the deal.
Well, I don't know. Am I skiing or am I just up there to sightsee, Vince? You got to give me the details. It's all about the details,
Let's say
Vincent.
you're skiing.
He's a skier, so he's
I
going to
ski.
say
You
you're
gotta go
skiing.
I'll give you that. You ski?
Yep. Winter
Okay.
ski.
Love
I'm
it.
gonna write that down too. All right. Got a lot of cool things we can do. All right. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I am a night owl.
Are you a socks and sandal guy or are you barefoot guy? You're
I will
not
not
socks
wear-
with sandal, are you?
No, God, no.
Are
If I
you
was,
okay?
you can defriend me if I do that.
There you go. Unfriend you on Facebook.
Yes.
All right. So sandals or barefoot? What do you prefer?
I'd go sandals,
Pancakes or waffles?
pancakes.
Roller coasters or Ferris wheel?
I am not a fan of roller coasters, which would probably
Okay.
surprise you
This isn't
considering
fair.
some of
I-
She
my,
isn't either.
I am not either. So
Yeah.
we're good there. We are
Yeah.
totally good there.
like I can go on them. I don't enjoy them.
I don't.
Um,
I can go on them too. I mean, if
Yeah.
Jenna says just please go on this one, I'll do it. But
He
Yeah.
screams the
I
whole
won't
time.
like it.
I usually scream that I have to use the bathroom the entire
The
time.
whole time. That was the
Like a
last
little-
time I asked him to go on a roller coaster with me.
We
It
just went to
was.
Disney and my 10-year-old was going on the roller coasters. Jenny loves them, and I'm just not a fan. Okay, you guys go on it. I'll be fine.
Yeah, just
Went on a
chilling.
couple. I just don't. I get done with it going, I don't like that. Why would I do that? Pull two
Same.
G's in a corner in a race car, but I don't really like going on the roller coasters.
Same. I am absolutely the same. This one, I love this question because this one's a good one.
Okay.
Teleportation or time travel?
Oh, ooh, that's a
Right.
time travel. Time travel.
Time travel.
Yeah.
Where would you travel to?
Oh God, ancient Egypt. I think that's just the coolest time ever.
Who built the
anytime-
pyramids?
Yeah.
We might not know, but if I had a time travel machine, I'd come back and tell you.
Man, I think the aliens did it.
Okay, here we go.
There's a lot to that. If you
So
if you-
many theories.
There is a lot to that, man. There is a lot
Yeah.
to that.
I'm not.
The coordinates of I mean, how
I'm
on
not.
earth would they know the
disagreeing with
coordinates?
the
Perfect.
theory.
Right?
the particles that the pyramids are emitting for energy and
Mhm.
electricity and
Mm-hmm.
who
Keep
knows
going.
if that's all true or not.
Keep
Yeah,
going,
it's-
man. Then there's
yeah.
a pyramid in Antarctica too. That we're
Oh.
apparently not allowed to go visit.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you can't
didn't
go
know
to
that one.
Antarctica.
Yeah, you should Google that one. That's good. I went down a rabbit hole one night and it was it was very bad.
There
This
is
is
a
not
lot of
unusual.
information you get on the internet. It's
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
probably all fake, but anyways.
it's
Any-
entertainment.
Anyways. All right. Are you box and box or ground up project kind of guy?
Round up.
Cold beer or cold drink?
Cold drink.
Ping pong or air hockey?
Ping pong.
Ammonia or freon refrigeration?
Ammonia.
Oh, you said that with your chest.
A lot of stuff that we're doing right now is a lot of the package systems. I think Eric puts a great product out there. I'm actually going to Atlanta Monday to see him so he can pitch me because I've never had the opportunity. I've known Eric with Alta forever and just not had the opportunity to hear more about his product. So I'm really looking forward to it. Just spending, an uninterrupted 3-4 hours with him and just grill him on why his stuff is better than the next and
Mhm.
Getting information
He's gonna
and
love
formulate a
that.
good opinion.
Gonna love sharing
it's-
that.
Yeah, no, he's excited. He's passionate about his stuff, and I
Mhm.
just want to learn more about it. I
Sure.
most of my stuff for my career has always been the central ammonia systems. Freon systems have always just been for smaller jobs, but we're using a lot of his packaged expert systems. We're using some of the packaged ammonia systems. The low charge.
Mm-hmm.
I get that part of it.
Yeah.
The whole debate on whether Freon's going to get phased out or not. I mean, that's a topic for a different podcast, I think.
Yeah, it is. They just tweak it a little bit and then it's fine, right? And then it
Right.
comes up again, they tweak it and it's fine again. Like,
Yeah.
how long are we going to be talking about this?
Right. Yeah, who
Anyways.
knows? But I looking forward to it. So, but I still think free or ammonia.
Okay, right on. Beachside or poolside?
Poolside,
Justin Timberlake or Justin Bieber?
Timberlake.
You've survived.
He got his answer.
You
We're still
survived.
friends.
Of course we are. I like them both.
Yeah.
I like all music. I'm an all music kind of guy, man. All right.
Yep.
I like them all. Jenna?
Thank you, Gary. Thank you for your
Oh,
time.
it's good to see you,
Thank
sweetie.
you for being a part of our podcast, joining us today. We appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to it all week.
Yeah, there you go. Well, G, we appreciate you. Thank you. And on behalf of Jen and I,
Say hello to your lovely wife for us.
you popped
please.
your
I
cool
will.
times cherry, and we appreciate you being on. And now that you have to be a guest again, we'd love to have you back on. like a year
need to
from
get
now,
my-
we talk about all these jobs you built.
Yeah, I need to get my green jacket.
And you get the green jacket. You came up with the good idea of most guest appearances. You get a jacket. So, I'll have director of marketing for Cool Times take care of that.
You just got to set a
Miss Jenna.
baseline, right? You got to set a baseline, and then
100%.
you get to that level, then you get the jacket. It's just like
That's-
Saturday Night Live, the
That's what I'm talking about.
seven timers club or whatever they have.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Those are
talking
wrong.
about.
I
And I'm gonna
like
make the guest do like a funny intro and like do an act.
Yeah,
Right?
as long as I have more than Chase. I got to get more than Chase. Chase
Well,
can't
Chase
have more
has been on
appearances.
twice
It's
now.
hard.
I
He
know.
lives here.
Chase has
know.
been on twice now. We have how many 2-timers we have?
Chase.
Just Chase?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, Dwight.
Oh.
No, not
No.
Dwight,
Can't let him-
because Dwight actually had to cancel twice. Oh, anyways, Gary, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate
guys.
you. And for all the listeners, thank you so much. You guys
Thank you,
can again
guys.
find our work on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, not Snapchat.
We do not chat.
We do not chat. I
No
was
chatting.
going to do that, but I'm like, I don't like Snapchat. I was going to do TikTok, but we don't do TikTok.
Yeah.
Instagram,
You just-
No.
Facebook,
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
That's where you can.
LinkedIn.
X. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X.
Oh, right.
X.
Sorry.
It's
X.
another conversation.
Shoot.
But yeah. But anyways, my friend
Wait.
Thanks for having me, Vince.
Gary, thank you so
You got to
much.
throw one of those in.
I appreciate
Appreciate
you.
We look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, yes.
Till next time. Thank you.
See you guys. You know, you've
Yeah.
made it when random people are name dropping you, Vince. So kudos to you, my friend.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I need a bigger headset.
Yeah.